So GM just announced that they plan to reveal the C8 ZR1 Corvette sometime in this summer of 2024. Guys, this is so exciting because this news matches a lot of things timeline-wise for the upcoming ZR1 that both myself and others have been saying, and it means even more exciting news is right around the corner. So today we're going to talk about that, talk about what we know for sure will be happening on the ZR1, as well as what is yet to be confirmed for this new C8 platform. All of that to go over in today's video. So thanks for tuning in, guys. So like I said, GM is finally throwing us a bone about the ZR1, although a rather small one, but in a quick 20-second teaser video. If you haven't seen it yet, take a look at this. Okay, so let's quickly break down what we see. So first off, GM is telling us that the unthinkable is coming this summer, referring to the ZR1. And in it you see different logos of the C8 variants, including the Stingray, Z06, E-Ray, and then what looks like an updated logo version of the ZR1. On top of that, you see a silhouette flyby of what can be taken as the ZR1 and some of the distinctive features that resemble it. Now, GM hasn't given us a specific date yet in the summer to reveal the ZR1, but it probably will mean getting a first look at it in this year's Corvette at Carlisle show, or maybe sometime around then as its own announcement. But this is going to fit exactly within the timeline that both myself and a few others have been saying so far about the ZR1. And what this means is that it sets up the new ZR1 to be a 2025 model. We know that GM has started producing capture test fleet cars at the Bowling Green plant. That is, the cars that are very close resemblance of what the final ZR1 is going to look like, minus some last minute tweaks by the engineers. We confirmed this a few weeks ago, and the initial signs to that were that GM closed the tours for the Bowling Green assembly plant. Now, it's important to note that while I say the ZR1 will be a 2025 model, how things have been progressing timeline-wise shows that we probably will have a low-rate 2025 model. That means that the ZR1 won't actually be delivered to actual customers until late 2025. So when it comes to odds of getting one, you probably won't start really seeing ZR1s available to the early waitlist customers until 2026, when it'll be getting into more of a full rate production setting. And depending, we can see the ZR1 being produced until 2028 or so. So all really good news. If you have your name on a waitlist now, there's a very good chance to get one, especially at MSRP depending on the dealer. If you haven't, you should definitely get on one soon. In fact, I made an entire video telling you the best ways to get on a ZR1 waitlist before it's too late. So I'll have a link to it here as well as at the end of this video. So definitely check it out. Also, if you're finding this info useful and you're enjoying the content, I did invite you to like this video as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It does let YouTube know that you're enjoying the content, share it to others that may enjoy it too, and helps grow the channel. So thank you for the support. Alright, so now that we talked a little bit about the timeline with the ZR1 with this new news, let's talk about what we know so far and what's been confirmed on this new platform. So with the ZR1, probably the biggest and most important factor we know is that the new variant will have over 800 horsepower. For a while, news has been going back and forth on how that extra power will be delivered, whether it's going to be twin turbo or use the motor from the E-Ray, for example. At this point though, the latest news has pretty much confirmed though that the ZR1 will feature twin turbos. And this has been confirmed through different sources like Mid-Engine Corvette Forum, as well as other YouTubers like Justin from HBO that have their inside guys that have a lock on this information. We also saw in previous news when certain Chevy dealers were able to get a sneak peek at the camoed version of the ZR1 and saw the twin turbo system then, along with a few other accounts, at least in the last few months, that corroborated that detail. So we can call confirmed that the ZR1 will feature twin turbos. What isn't confirmed yet is what kind of engines will be connected to those twin turbos. The ZR1's engine designation is LT7, and right now it's back and forth that it'll be some kind of variation of the LT6 motor that you see in the Z06. Now, probably why this is going to be difficult to use just the LT6 motor that comes from the Z06 with its flat plane crank and 5.5 liters, it ultimately comes down to just the really high compression ratio. Trying to add turbos to compress air to an already high compressed motor is just going to have a whole bunch of reliability issues. Now, there's things they can do to remedy that, like lower the engine from a 5.5 liter to maybe a 5.2, but one of the thoughts is that GM may go with a cross plane crank design instead of the flat plane crank design to improve the reliability. That's what Justin from Horsepower Obsessed has said, and I lean to agree with him on that. Although I will say, if GM can keep that flat plane crank somehow, I'd honestly love that myself personally. But what do you guys think GM will do about the engine? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to know what you think. Okay, so the next thing that has some form of confirmation is the new aero with respect to a new wing design, front hood, and even some inlets on the side rear quarter panels. From everything we've seen, it looks like GM will be featuring a new wing design for the ZR1, which would be in the what's going to be called the ZTK package. Now, while the new wing has been confirmed, what hasn't been confirmed totally is whether this new wing will feature active aero in the form of maybe actively tilting that wing angle to act as an air brake or increase downforce in the corners. But we do know active aero is coming with the respect to different patents GM has filed. It just may be a thing that for maybe the final version of the C8, the Zora, which will be a beast in itself and it's rumored to have at least 1,000 horsepower. Regardless though, when it comes to the other new aero features for the ZR1 with the new hood and inlets, at least from a functional point of view, those are going to act as means to supplement cooling and induction for the twin turbo setup that has been confirmed on the ZR1. Now when it comes to wheels, the size has been pretty much confirmed to be the same size as seen on the Z06, with 20x10s for the front and 21x13s for the rear. The difference though we may see is slightly wider tires. On the Z06 you normally see 275s for the front and 345s for the rear, but I have a suspicion that they're gonna just try opting for a slightly wider tire and maybe go with 285s in the front and 355s for the rear. With that extra amount of horsepower and torque, I honestly would not be surprised if that's the case. And then one of the last big things that's still up in the air is what's going to be the final price for the base new ZR1. It's probably something we're honestly not going to know until GM, definitely tells us in the reveal coming sometime this summer. But the prices that have been floated around have been anywhere from 5 to 10,000 over what the Z06 costs to upwards over 200,000 for the ZR1. Now, I had done some price projections and came up with a number on my own for a base MSRP ZR1 and ended up using historical data to find a trend based off of the previous Z06 and ZR1 models. Now, obviously I'm taking MSRP, but some dealers are going to get their hands on this and there's going to be some kind of insane markup like 100,000, 200,000 over MSRP, especially when they first start trickling in. Hopefully it's not too bad, but we are going to see that. If you're curious though on what price I had projected for the ZR1, you're definitely going to want to check out this video here. And then also check out my video on how to get your name on a waitlist for the ZR1 also here. You're definitely not going to want to miss your chance to get on one now, because if you wait, it will probably be next to impossible to get your hand on one, at least without a major markup price. So I'll keep you updated on any new news for the ZR1 Corvette as it comes along. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care, guys.